Following up on the small block Ford engine that I'm going to be putting in Factory Five Cobra, we're going to put a MSD pointer on. As I mentioned the other day, one of the things we had to do right off the bat was to take part of this block off from the stock Ford cover because it's in the way. And also I made two spacers right here, 3/8 thick, that will go behind the MSD pointer mount off, and that'll bring the pointer out just a little bit more. Alright, the engine's still on top dead center. I have gone ahead and marked top dead center with a little bit of yellow paint, and I have marked off at 14 degrees a silver stripe just for my reference. We still have the original pointer over here. It's out of the way and it's still on its top dead center mark of 0. This damper has actually 3 different positions for markers. So this is the MSD pointer. This part gets fixed and this gets adjusted. So I'm going to install my spacers that I made. These are 3/8 just to bring this off just a little bit. And then this will just bolt into the cover down to the block. The bottom bolt, these are both Allen heads. The bottom one happens to be 3 1/4 inches for what I needed, and I'm going to snug that one up a little bit first, and then I'm going to bring the top one, and because this is adjustable, this will never stay like centered. We're just going to get them snug, because the next thing we have to do is we have to check the clearance here, and that'll keep that from rotating. I'm going to move the camera around so you can see what I'm talking about, and we get a little persuader. So I've already kind of pre-measured this, so we have this at top dead center. I use the leading edge as it comes around. You'll loosen these 2 Allen head bolts here and here in order to slide this, and you got almost a 10-degree variance depending on where your mark is on your damper. So because it's loose, I'm just going to move this up just a little bit just to give myself the clearance I need. Pretty much the same here as it is here, just to keep it off the pulley. I want to get this snug so that this doesn't move closer to the damper. And then we'll go ahead and we'll snug this one up. And then a little bit extra. And that there. So as you see here, we have about the same spacing away from the damper on both edges, so just so it doesn't hit. And we have number 1 right here. If you need to adjust this pointer one way or the other, this happens to be 9/64, and we can just loosen these up a little bit. And then once you're satisfied and you're done, I recommend putting a little bit of like orange Permatex or Loctite, and then we can slide this damper, or excuse me, we can adjust the pointer quite a ways here. So I know that I'm on top dead center right there. Snug that down, that side down, tighten it up, and it's done. So this part's done. I'm going to mock up this alternator. I can see that it's off, sticking out too far. Bracket doesn't fit. We have to move this back. It's not going to be much. Thinking 1/4 inch or less. So I'm going to measure with a straight edge again. I'm going to go across. I'm going to measure from the front of the straight edge to the first rib on the alternator. Got this zeroed, and these are the approximations. So I'm going to call that like 249. Let's call it 250 to make it easier for math. And then to the center of the first rib on this belt pulley is going to be, we got 385. So 250, 385 gives us 135, and 135 equates to about a little over 1/8 of an inch, 5/32 of an inch, 9/64, somewhere in there. So I'm going to start with about 5/32 of an inch trim off of this back bushing. If I need to take more, I can always take a little bit more, and then we'll come back and mock it back up, and we'll see how everything lines up. All right, I took about 100 and, what was it, 150, 157 thousandths off. And we'll come back up here and we're going to recheck. And I can see now that if I put it on the water pump, it sticks out further, but this rib is thicker than the alternator rib. So we're still on the alternator. And this measurement shouldn't have changed. It was around 240 if I remember right. It's 234. About there, 244, and we're at just about 240, 242 and a half, 243. So we're pretty much in line here. I'm good with that as far as lining up the belt. The next thing will be to take the other two spacers that came with this. One that was actually looked like it might fit in the bottom is off by a little more than 1/16 of an inch. So this one I'm going to trim down whatever I need here to make this one fit in this spot, and then I have a longer one which I can have, and I'll probably end up cutting, looks like almost 3/4 of an inch or better off the bottom, and then I can take this pulley back off, mount this, and then this is pretty much set up and I'll be ready to go. Okay, finished mocking up the alternator bracket, cut the spacers. This still has to be trimmed down, the arc to fit the alternator, then this will be bolted on. This is how we're going to tighten everything. Then I'll measure for a 6-rib pulley, then disassemble everything, lube everything, put the gasket on the water pump, and then secure everything, and pretty much it'll be ready to go in the coil, or excuse me, ready to go in the car. I'm getting ahead of myself. And then I'm going to fabricate a coil bracket to put right here on the side of the head, and pretty much that's about it. This spacer was cut down, this spacer was cut down, this spacer was cut down, and now we have the pulleys in alignment here. So we shouldn't have an issue with the belt. And again, this was our MSD pointer that we did earlier. So that's how it's going to look when it's sitting in the car, outside of the sniper on top and a coil and plug wires. So we're getting there.